Welcome to all. Myself, G. Saranya, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at SA Engineering College, Chennai. So today we are going to discuss about the topic computer organization and architecture. So this is the syllabus of computer organization and architecture. So in this, today we are going to see about instruction pipelining. So today we are going to discuss about the introduction followed by non-pipelined execution followed by pipelined execution and four-stage pipeline. We will see some example followed by the performance of pipelined execution and gate question. So before moving to the topic, first of all we should know what is the use of instruction. So what is instruction? Actually instruction is, each and every program will have number of instruction. Instruction is a basic thing. With the help of instruction only, the processor will be understanding and it will be executing the instruction, right? So this execution can be happened in two ways. The first thing is non-pipelined execution and second one is pipelined execution. So first we will be seeing what is non-pipelined execution. Okay, so before that, as I already told that a program consists of number of instruction. So when we talk about the non-pipelined execution, here all the instructions of a program are executed one after another, which means a new instruction will execute only after the previous instruction has executed completely. So the second instruction has to wait till the first instruction has completed. Okay, so this style of execution in the instruction is highly inefficient. So we will see one example in this. So consider a 3 instruction here. So this is a non-pipelined architecture. So we just assume that there are 3 instructions. Instruction 1, instruction 2 and instruction 3 are there. So when we talk about the non-pipelined architecture, here the process will be happening like this. Okay, the thing is, after completion of instruction 1, the instruction 2 will start. So after completion of instruction 2, the instruction 3 will start, which means the instruction 2 and the instruction 3 has to wait till the instruction 1 has completed. Okay, so instruction 3 has to wait till the instruction 1 and instruction 2 completes, right? So the time taken for executing one instruction, let us assume it is t means, then the time taken for executing the n instruction will be n into t. So now we will move to the next execution, that is pipelined execution. So in pipelined architecture, here what will be happening here? The multiple instructions will be executed parallelly. So this style of execution is highly efficient. Why we are telling that it is highly efficient? Because so in a pipeline processor, the instruction, which means the next instruction does not wait until the previous instruction has executed completely or not. Rather, what will be happening here? It fetches the next instruction and begins its execution. So here the multiple instructions are executed parallelly, which means when one instruction goes from nth stage to n-1th stage, the another instruction goes from n-1th stage to nth stage. So this is happening in the pipelined execution. So in the pipeline architecture, the hardware of the CPU is split up into several functional units. So each functional units perform a dedicated task. So the number of functional units may vary from processor to processor. So it depends on the processor. The functional units also vary. So normally these functional units are called as the stages of the pipeline. So here in the pipeline architecture, there will be a register associated with each stage. And what is the use of register here? It is used to hold the data. And there is a global clock, and that synchronizes the working of all the stages. So at the beginning of each clock cycle, what will happening is, so each stage takes the input from its register, and each stage then after processing the data will be feed its output to the next stage register. Fine. So let us consider one 4-stage pipelining. So in 4-stage pipeline architecture, the execution of instruction is completed in following 4 stages. First one is instruction fetch, and the second one is instruction decode, and third one is instruction execute, and the last one is write back. So here we are going to implement a 4-stage pipeline. So consider to implement a 4-stage pipeline. First thing is, the hardware of the CPU is divided into 4 functional units, and each functional unit performs a dedicated task. So I already told that in the 4-line pipeline there will be 4 stages, right? So in stage 1, the first functional unit performs instruction fetch, and it fetches the instruction to be executed. And in the second stage, what will be happening? The second functional unit performs instruction decode. So here at this stage, it decodes the instruction to be executed. Okay. And the next thing is stage 3. So in stage 3, the third functional unit performs instruction execution, and it executes the instruction. And next thing is stage 4. So during the stage 4, the fourth functional unit performs write back. It write backs the result so obtained after executing the instruction. So this is what happening in the 4-stage pipeline. Clear? Okay, so now we will be seeing the performance of pipeline execution. Okay, see here, these are some of the parameters which is used to estimate the performance of pipeline execution. So the following parameters serve as criterion to estimate the performance of pipeline execution. So what are they? So here today we are going to discuss about speed up, efficiency, and followed by throughput. Okay, so we will be seeing one by one. So first thing is speed up. So it gives an idea of how much faster the pipeline execution when compared to the non-pipeline execution. Yes, we have already seen that when we are comparing with the non-pipeline architecture, the pipeline architecture is far better, right? It is more efficient. So how to calculate the speed up, which means what is meant by speed up? It is going to compare how much it is faster when you are comparing pipeline execution with the non-pipeline execution, right? So in order to calculate that, we have to use this, right? So non-pipeline execution time divided by pipeline execution time. Okay. So next, what's the next performance criteria? Next thing is efficiency. So here the efficiency of pipeline execution is calculated as, how we have to calculate the efficiency? Efficiency is equal to speed up divided by number of stages in pipeline architecture. As I already told that there will be different stages, it depends on the processor, right? So, or else we can find out the efficiency based on the number of boxes utilized in phase time diagram divided by total number of boxes in phase time diagram. Okay, what is the next thing? Next is throughput. So what is throughput? Throughput is defined as number of instructions executed per unit time. So how to calculate the throughput? Throughput is equal to number of instruction executed divided by total time taken. So next thing is how to calculate the cycle time. So what is cycle time? Cycle time is the value of one clock cycle. So again this is possible in two cases, okay. Case one is either there is a possible of all the stages offer same delay, or else the case two is all the stages do not offer same delay. So case 1, first we will see about the case 1. So case 1 is if all the stages offer same delay, then how to calculate the cycle time? The cycle time is equal to delay offered by one stage including the delay due to its register. And how to calculate when we talk about the case 2 here? In the case 2, here all the stages do not offer same delay. So if all the stages do not offer same delay, which means we have to calculate the cycle time like this, okay. So that is maximum delay offered by any stage including the delay due to its register, okay. So next thing is calculating non-pipelined execution time. So how to calculate the non-pipelined execution time? So here, as I already told that after completion of the first instruction only, the second instruction will start. After completion of the second instruction only, the third instruction will start, right? So here in non-pipelined architecture, the instruction execute one after the other. So the execution of a new instruction begins only after the previous instruction has been executed completely, right? So the number of clock cycles taken by each instruction, let us assume k clock cycles. So if you want to calculate the execution time of non-pipeline, it will be the total number of instructions into time taken to execute one instruction. So we have to multiply the total number of instructions with the time taken to execute one instruction. So which means n into k clock times. Here n is the total number of instruction and k is the, as I already explained, k is the number of clock cycle taken by each instruction. Clear? Okay, next thing is calculating pipeline execution time. So when we talk about the pipeline architecture, so here let us assume the number of clock cycles taken by the first instruction is equal to k clock cycles. So after the first instruction has completed execution, one instruction comes out, right? So per clock cycle. So the number of clock cycles taken by each remaining instruction, let us assume one clock cycle, okay? So here pipeline execution time, how we have to calculate, which is equal to time taken to execute first instruction, we have to add that with the time taken to execute the remaining instructions. Clear? So which is equal to the time taken to execute the first instruction is 1 into k clock cycle. We have to add with that n minus 1, which means remaining instructions into 1 clock cycle. So which is equal to k plus n minus 1 clock cycles. So now we will see one gate questions. So I'll read the question first. So consider a non-pipeline processor with a clock rate of 2.5 gigahertz and average cycles per instruction of 4. The same processor is upgraded to a pipeline processor with 5 stages, but due to internal pipeline delay, the clock speed is reduced to 2 gigahertz. Assume that there are no stalls in the pipeline. The speed up achieved in this pipeline processor is, so we have to find out the speed up achieved in the pipeline processor, but what they have given here. So initially we have to consider it as a non-pipeline processor and they have given the clock rate of 2.5 gigahertz and they have given the average cycles per instruction, that is CPI, they have given us 4, and after that what they have given, they have upgraded the non-pipeline processor to a pipeline processor, and which includes 5 stages, right? And due to some internal pipeline delay, what they have explained here, the clock speed is now reduced to 2 gigahertz, right? So we have to assume that there is no stall in the pipeline. So this was a question which is asked in the year 2015. Okay. So first we will consider a non-pipeline system. In that they have given the frequency which is equal to 2.5 GHz. So how to calculate the cycle time? Yes, how to calculate one cycle time which is equal to 1 divided by the given frequency 1 by f, so which is equal to 1 by 2.5 nanoseconds, right? So how to calculate the total time? The total time is equal to 4 into 1 by 2.5 nanoseconds, which is equal to 4 by 2.5 nanoseconds, right? Okay, so move to the pipeline system, because they have given that first we have to consider as a non-pipeline system, later they have upgraded to a pipeline system, right? So now we have to calculate for the pipeline system also, and they have given that there is no stall in between, so we can take that average CPI is equal to 1. So, which means what is understood here, the pipeline is also independent of the number of phases, right? So there is no need to change, even if it is 6 age also no issues, right? Okay, so similarly frequency is equal to 2 GHz, which means one cycle time is equal to 1 by 2 nanoseconds. So how to calculate the speed up? We have seen this formula already, right? So we have to calculate if you want to calculate the speed up, first thing is we have to calculate the time without pipelining, and also we have already found out the answer for time with pipelining, right? So in the previous slide we have found out the answer for non-pipelining system, right? So that you have to substitute here. So 4 by 2.5 divided by, what is the thing we got from time with pipelining? It is 1 by 2. So we have to substitute here. So 4 by 2.5 divided by 1 by 2. So after cancelling this, what answer we will be getting? 3.2. So what is the answer here? So the correct answer is 3.2. Okay, thank you. We'll see you in the next session.